in class today because Mr. Craddock's class is doing research for their periodic tables or something like that. So they needed to use the laptop, which is absolutely fine because we can make way with what we have to do as long as we are all locked in and focused. So prior to us getting into the new lesson, I want to make sure we do a quick review of the previous lesson because it's been a while because we had that 2.5 week gap with the MCAPs going on, okay, where we weren't able to achieve any of our normal learning. So today, we are still in Civil War and the reunion, okay, but we're going to be talking about the actual war and the coming of the Emancipation Proclamation, all right? So please, make sure that you have written down the new lesson information and you get this warm-up knocked out over the next, let's do 3 minutes, please, okay? And then we're gonna follow up, review the warm-up, and then we're gonna get right into our near pod, okay? All right. Y'all, I asked y'all to be ready at 8:45. It's way beyond that at this point. Let's roll. Lincoln, I'm gonna need you to get engaged, sir. You need your journal. Do you have a writing utensil today? Lincoln, go get your journal, please. Like I said, we haven't really talked about it. I'm gonna jog your memory on the last lesson that we went over that you all should remember, sort of, kind of, hopefully. Okay, and then we'll get into this new lesson. But it all ties together, and we'll still review the information even as we're going through this new lesson. So don't overly stress. Don't worry about it. Just write down the warm up then, and then I'll fill in the blanks for you. How you feeling, Skylar? Normal. What is your normal?
School being ready to go 24/7.
I know y'all ready to clock all the way out. Believe me, I am too. But we got a good, if y'all can just give me a good 2.5 weeks, okay? After that, we can wind it down.
I just feel like I gotta go right back to school.
What's going on? Why you gotta go right back to school? So, what do you know about the Emancipation Proclamation? Yes, Skylar?
It was an order made by Abraham Lincoln in 1863 during the Civil War.
Yes, ma'am. And what was the order about? What was it addressing? What was the main, let me phrase it like this. What was the main issue being addressed during the Civil War? Why was the North and the South fighting? Because of slavery, right? So, what does the Emancipation Proclamation address concerning slavery? That's only 2 seconds. Take a guess. What does the Emancipation Proclamation do as far as addressing slavery? God will let us know exactly what the Emancipation Proclamation is. An order that was given by President Abraham Lincoln. And this is in the midst of the Civil War. So the Civil War starts in what year? 1861. The Emancipation Proclamation happens when, Skylar? 1863. So we're 2 years into the war, and President Lincoln says, all right, I'm going to issue this Emancipation Proclamation, but what is it addressing? I already gave you a clue. It has something to do with slavery. What do you think is going to happen concerning slavery? overthinking, y'all. Skylar, come on. Cause you in the right ballpark. Don't overthink it. And guess what? It's okay to be wrong because we are here to learn. What do you think it has to do with? Abolishing slavery. Oh my goodness. Woo! Good job, Kamaya. Okay, good job, okay? Because we already know that the main issue becomes about slavery, right? Abolitionists and abolitionist groups are pressuring President Lincoln to change up his tune. Because originally, when we start the war, is President Lincoln like, hey, yeah, our whole goal is to end slavery? Yes or no?
Yes.
You sure about that?
We wanted to.
Who said something? You said something different. What did you say?
I mean, this goal was to end slavery, but like, 'cause it was, but it wasn't. Like,
It really wasn't initially. He didn't think that he had enough support, and he also didn't think that he had political ground, okay, or the power to bring it into slavery, okay? So the initial purpose, okay, of the Union joining in the Civil War was to defend the Union, period. Because who took the first shot? The Union or the Confederacy?
you.
Oh, we gotta go. Woo!
It was the Confederacy.
What happened?
Uh,
We watched the video on it. I know it was a while, and it was before the impact. So,
they didn't want President Lincoln to be like taken over something.
he got elected, and then almost instantaneously, okay, the South secedes from the North, and then the South becomes the Confederacy, and they attack Fort Sumter in South Carolina. Okay? So they fired the first shot. And so President Lincoln and the Union now are on the defense. Okay? So now we have to protect and preserve the Union. Okay? And that is the purpose of us getting involved in the Civil War. Not to end slavery. Though slavery has definitely been a part of the conversation, that is not the purpose. Okay? Alright. So we're engaged in war at this point in time when the Emancipation Proclamation comes out. So what we're going to be learning about in this lesson is understanding why the tune changes. Why Abraham Lincoln switches from, hey, we just need to preserve the Union to, yes, we have to abolish slavery. Okay? And we have to do it swiftly. Okay? So what changes or what makes this now priority? And with the Emancipation Proclamation bringing slavery to its end, all right, how is that going to impact or affect the war? Okay, so we'll go over here to our student learning goal. Somebody read out loud for me. Micah, thank you. I saw your hand first.
The big one that's the solo.
Yes, the SLO, sir.
Students will evaluate the
Effectiveness.
effectiveness of the United States government in protecting the rights of individuals and groups during the Civil War by evaluating the military and historic significance of the
Emancipation
Emancipation and
Proclamation.
Proclamation.
Alright, thank you so much. Alright, so essentially, this lesson is about us understanding the impact of the Emancipation Proclamation, definitely when it comes to military and historical significance, okay? How is it going to change the pace of the war, or how is it going to affect the outcome? Alright, so today, in order to learn that lesson, we had two options. So we had the textbook option where I gave you a reading and we read it together and we did a couple of activities together and it was pretty much self-paced, or we had this Nearpod activity, okay? So I decided let's go with the Nearpod activity. Even though we don't have one-to-one devices, it's going to be teacher-led And so we're gonna go through it together, and we are gonna answer some questions. There are a couple of short assessments throughout. There are a couple of videos that we're going to watch throughout the near pod as well. So I'm just asking for everybody's participation and engagement. In your journals, okay, you are going to title this activity Emancipation Proclamation Near Pod, okay? And I'll write that on the board so we can make sure that we have that. So this is how you will receive credit. Alright, Emancipation Proclamation near part is what I want to see in your journals when I go to grade it. So please make sure that it's in there. Go ahead and write that under where you put your warm up and your new lesson information. That's right. Excuse me?
You said something that echoed through my ear. Like, you said it and then echoed through me. I don't know what is going on.
That's just your loud chewing. You chewing like a cow. That's all you do.
Excuse you? Excuse you? Like, it's not even that. Literally before it did happen before I was showing you. For your information.
Wait, so, Miss Lincoln, for the warm-up, what would be like a quick?
Okay, so for the warm up, the Emancipation Proclamation frees the slaves. That's what you need to understand. So this is essentially an order from President Lincoln to free the slaves. Do you need to go switch seats over there so you can get a better view? So during the Civil War, initially, as the fighting begins, we know that the South took the first advancement of wanting to be violent. Okay, so they attacked Fort Sumter, okay, in South Carolina, that actually initiates the true battles. Okay, and initially the Confederacy is winning. Okay. Many of the battles that are transpiring are being won or solidified by the South, and the North is struggling, even with the advantages that the North has. Okay, initially I think they may have just been taken back from the entire ordeal. Okay, with the South seceding and it happening so fast, the North wasn't just, they weren't ready for this to happen the way it did. Okay. So we're gonna talk about the significance of Antietam, okay, which is the battle of the Civil War, and how that changes the tide of the Civil War for the Union, for the North in their favor, and the emancipation, okay? All right, first thing. So make sure in your journal you write emancipation, and it is the act of freeing. The act of freeing is what emancipation stands for. Emancipation will be this lesson's vocabulary word, so we will see it many times, including when we are assessed. So please make sure that you have this definition in your journal so you can go back and recall that information. Lincoln, sir. Mr. Lincoln. Mr. I'm not sleeping, sir. Your pencil is not moving. You need to get engaged with the lesson. Come on. good? I don't hear you. Okay. Alright, so the war so far. What's going on? The Confederacy was hoping that Great Britain and France might help them in the war, giving the Confederacy the advantage. Anybody remember why the South believes that their relationships with foreign nations are going to come to aid them? What is the South's connection to these foreign nations? Why do they have a relationship?
But other than that,
Okay, no worries. Again, I'm giving y'all a lot of grace because I know it's been about 3 weeks since we had this conversation. I want you to think back to the economic systems of the North and the South. Okay? The economic system of the North is based around what? What does the North, how do they make their money, y'all? In the North. They have factories, right? Yes, in manufacturing that comes out of these factories, right? That is their predominant source of income and how they make their money. How does the South make their money? Crops, agriculture, cotton, okay? It's actually a multi-billion-dollar industry for the South, okay? And the majority of their clients are. So, I'm gonna ask you again. Why do you think that the South believes that those foreign countries were going to come to their aid?
Because they had the resources.
Not only because they had the resources, because they had a trade relationship surrounding those resources. Okay? So, they've been selling cotton to these countries for years. Okay? So they thought that their good relationship, their good trade relationship was going to benefit them in a way where these countries would come to their aid. Okay? Unfortunately for the South, they're going to find out the hard way that these countries don't want nothing to do with their acts of treason, because that's how they're going to view them. Anybody remember what treason is? It can result in death, but what was treason? Alright? It's a criminal act, what you need to understand. Okay? If a person or group commits treason against their government, it means that they are breaking the law. They are trying to overthrow their government. Okay? Which many other countries, including the United States themselves, they feel like with the South seceding from the North, that's a treasonous act. They're trying to break away, form their own government, but then they're also trying to defeat the existing government. You understand? Okay. Alright. So, again, these foreign countries, even though they have a great relationship with the South, due to the trade relationship, they do not come to aid the South. Can we please copy down this particular bullet point in our journal? I want to make sure we understand that. Alright? Again, recalling, originally, as I stated, okay? The purpose for us engaging in the Civil War was not to free the slaves. It was to save the Union. Okay? Yes, ma'am. It says the stated purpose of the war was to save the Union. However, abolitionists and Republicans were pressuring Lincoln to make freeing the slaves a goal of the war. So it's those abolitionists like William Lloyd Garrison, Okay, the publisher of the Liberator. Remember the newspaper? Why am I no longer signed in? We're having technology difficulties. Okay. Assessment, okay, of what we've gone over thus far. Who was winning the majority of the battles at the beginning of the war? The North or the South? Yes, ma'am. The South. Are we all in agreement?
Yes.
We sure? All right, good job. All right, number 2. What had Lincoln stated was the purpose of the war in the early years? A, to bring an immediate end to slavery. B, to defend the Union from the Confederacy. Or C, to preserve the Union. What'd you say? What'd you say? A is incorrect. C. B. B or C, y'all? How many hands for C? I need to see hands up. Hands up, hands up, hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, how many for B? All right, we're gonna try C. Good job. Okay. Why did Lincoln feel like he needed a victory before freeing enslaved people in the South? Okay. A, he didn't want to appear weak and not able to enforce his decision. B, his main goal was to get the Confederacy out of the northern states. Or C, he was hoping to start a slave uprising. Yes, ma'am. Yes, you know. Let's go. A. How many for B? Raise, show of hands. How many for A? Show of hands. Y'all seem unsure. Are we going A or B? A, hands up high. Hands up high if you're going for A. If you're going for B, hands up high. That is not correct.
But huh?
Remember, I told you, he didn't feel as though his government was strong enough. He didn't want the slaves to rebel because he wanted to make sure that he had the proper support. Okay? Girls, go ahead and write down the T-dum, please. All right, September 17th.